1634, Louis XIII, King of France, wrote to Jean de Martin, Baron Laubardemont, concerning the walls of the provincial city of Loudun. Its walls were among the last left standing in the country whose feudal lords were being systematically divested of their powers and independence.
I ask you once again, where is His Majesty's proclamation authorizing this demolition?
For a common priest, you act uncommonly like a governor, Father. Where is your authority?
Here, should one more stone be torn from our city walls, you will be dead before it touches the ground.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut, where we return once again to the subject of Ken Russell's The Devils and the question of why it is that Warner's, the American studio who owns the movie, won't allow Ken's director's cut of The Devils to be released. It was premiered in London 10 years ago this month, but since then Warner's have refused to allow it to be released in its entirety. Now, I did a blog saying this is outrageous. It's time to demand this British masterpiece be shown, and many of you have responded. Loads and loads of people saying, yeah, we agree, why can't we see it? One question which came up time and time again is, have Warner's ever given any reason? Well, all I can say is that when we made Hell on Earth, the documentary about the Devils many, many years ago, Warner's explained that the distasteful tonality of the material like the infamous Rape of Christ sequence, was what was causing them a problem. Now, as far as we can tell, that is still the issue. The issue, as far as they're concerned, is distasteful tonality. Another question which was raised was, would the censors have any problems with the uncut version of The Devils? This came in from Annie Mouse. Has the UK ratings body ever given the full version a rating? Well, no, officially they haven't, but members of the BBFC were in attendance when we premiered the uncut version all those years ago, a decade ago, and they said at the time, as far as we're concerned, we don't have any problem with it. So although it doesn't have an official certificate because it's never been officially submitted, we have got a verbal assurance that the censors have no problem with that material.
But if it is a genuine case of possession by devils, and if Grandier himself was proved to be involved, then yes, I think it bears investigation, gentlemen.
Another question which many of you raised is, if Warner Brothers don't want to release it, can't someone else do it? This, for example, from WSV. If Warner Brothers won't release it for whatever reason, then maybe they'll be willing to sell the rights. Mark, have you asked the BFI to make inquiries? Believe me, we have asked. In fact, we originally wanted the BFI to be able to release the uncut version. Warner's wouldn't allow it. In America, there's been talk for years and years about the possibility of Criterion releasing the uncut version. It's not going to happen, and the reason it isn't going to happen is that Warner's won't allow it to happen, even in a sub-licensed version.
But of course I can prove nothing. This Mother Superior may be little more than a hysterical nun.
So finally, what can we do about this? Well, many of you have said we must have an online petition. There are already a number of online petitions, and I totally support them. However, there is a question about whether they will have any effect whatsoever. Certainly, so far, nothing has happened. But many of you made this suggestion. What you need on board is a high-profile filmmaker. This is typical from D503. I wonder if Christopher Nolan has enough weight to persuade them to release it, assuming he too wants to see the director's cut. Many of you said, you know, Christopher Nolan is the man in the know as far as Warner's are concerned. Can we get him on board? Well, look, I don't know Christopher Nolan personally. Chris, if you're watching, now's the time to get involved.